So I think we need to do something. We need to realign the budget to make sure that we give the necessary funding to our educational sector. Mr. President, I want to say finally that this respected Senate, the highest assembly in this country, should engage the economic managers of this country. We know the president means well, and that's why he decided to delegate his powers to these people to run our economy. But certainly they are not doing well. They are not doing well. I don't understand why a budget should be brought. Let me just go back, because it's a clear aberration, a legal mess. They know MTF has to be passed before bringing the budget, because that is the premise of a past MTF, that the budget has to be prepared. But why bring the budget, when you have not dealt with the MTF, the MTF has not been passed? So it's an aberration that even a secondary school child will be able to get away from it, not to talk of people who have been given the responsibility of managing our economy. Mr. President, we need to engage them, let them understand the problem before us. We are going to an election year. I belong to the APC. It concerns me a lot to see this kind of mess going on. We need to quickly implement the 2017 budget. If not, well, I don't want to make use the word that somebody used here before, but there's a problem. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Senator Polka.
Mr. President, Senator Polka Emmanuel is my name. I represent Bayelsa Central. Mr. President, I agree no less with the last speaker to a very large extent that discussing the issue of this budget is very difficult for someone after perusing through the details of the budget. But the budget is before us. Just like you mentioned, we're supposed to have taken the MTF on those assumptions before talking about the budget. But here we are discussing the budget. So let me contribute. Mr. President, last year's budget is made up of revenue and expenditure framework. Some of the assumptions of last year's budget was that about 807 billion will be raised from independent source. Mr. President, as at 31st October, just 155 billion naira have been raised. Mr. President, the yawning gap tells us what our planners are doing. That the assumptions were very wrong, Mr. President. The gap between 807 and 105 billion is so wide, imagine. And Mr. President, there is this belief in some quarters that 60% of the capital of 2017 budget is to be rolled over to 2018. Mr. President, judging from the implementation of this budget of 2017, about 15% budget implementation have been achieved. Mr. President, even if 60% of the capital budget is to be rolled over, and then you add this 15% to that 60%, little arithmetic will show us that government have to implement about 25% of the capital budget between now and 31st, if at all we are going to truncate this budget by 31st December. Mr. President, if that is the situation, it requires only Christ or Muhammad to achieve that, even if the money is available. Mr. President, that is the more reason I said that most of the assumptions are very wrong, because we can hardly achieve these feats. Mr. President, I won't say that. If you look at the 2018 budget, you have deficit, the whole budget is about 8.8 trillion naira. Deficit is over 2 trillion, servicing of debt is over 2 trillion. And then you have expenditure, the recurrent. Mr. President, we are coming back to the same issue. Without borrowing, I emphasize without borrowing, this 2018 budget cannot move anywhere. Because if you put it for debt service and the deficit, it's over 4 trillion. So where will you get your capital? So we are coming back to square one. We borrowed about over 1 trillion naira domestic. Mr. President, this Hello Chamber approved $5.2 billion just some few weeks ago. And we are being told that it's going to be used for infrastructural development. What are the infrastructure? When only 15% of the budget is implemented, Mr. President. So I agree no less with those who say that discussing about this budget is very painful and exercise. But all the same, the budget is here before. But my advice is that the planners should be more serious in their assumptions. Because if the assumptions are wrong, there is no way we can achieve anything. Mr. President, let me just deviate a little. We are just talking about budget, the major principle of the budget, and we don't have to go into specifics. But I've always mentioned, the leader is distracting me. Let me veer a little to specific. Mr. President, I look at the totality of the budget, and when I look at the Niger Delta Ministry, you see, take the East-West Road. The whole ministry is budget for 53 billion. And what they are owing is over 100 billion. We are indirectly telling them that please don't execute this, project. And that is the only major project we have in the entire Niger Delta, running across the states of Niger Delta. So, Mr. President, if you look at the budget in its entirety, I think I agree with most of the speakers who say that the assumptions are basically wrong. And even when we step down the MTEL for further discussion, how will we step down? Because if we have planners, the meeting for OPEC was slated today, and our planners could have known time ahead what remedy will we even give if OPEC now gives a reduction to about 1.9 or 1.8. So the assumptions, most of the assumptions of the budget are wrong. So, Mr. President, I think I demand that our planners should do more work on this budget, and then we stand a good time in deliberating the budget.
I'm told your time is up. Senator Nelson.
Thank you very much, President. I'm Senator Nelson Efiong. I represent Akwa Ibom South. Mr. President, I rise to thank you so much for calling me again. I was at the ECOWAS Parliament and doing some other things for this Senate. And I want to say, even though I was not here when members contributed, there is no doubt, Mr. President, that the budget of 2018 is a visionary budget, is a budget well thought out, and I will not join others in condemning the budget. Mr. President, if you look at the philosophy behind 2018 budget, Mr. President, coming out of the recession, wants to expand the economy, wants to take us to greater heights. And that is why, if the PDP senators will allow me, that is why you see this budget, Mr. President. For example, Mr. President, there's a 16% increase from 2017. And if you look at it, Mr. President, 30 points. Mr. President, I hope.
Senator Nephew, you are protected. Carry on, please. Minority leader, please, can you allow the I know it's from Akwa Ibom, can you let him speak?
What we really need to do, Mr. President, for this budget to be perfected and realized is for us to look at our revenue generating capacity. Mr. President, case in point, some of the revenue generating agencies need to be looked into. Some of them have become drained in the pipes of our revenue. We must make sure we scrutinize some of these agencies and see whether they are really good enough to exist. If not, we should scrap them. For example, Mr. President, some agencies are asked to pay 25% of their surplus revenue to the government. And if you examine most of these agencies, they are the ones to determine surplus and deficits on their spending. And I think this Senate must look into that. We must strengthen our, protect or plug the leakages in our revenue agencies like NPC, Customs, and I want to use this opportunity to thank the Custom and Excise Committee for the job they are doing. On the whole, Mr. President, this is a good budget. It will expand the economy and bring us and consolidate on the thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator Nelson F. Young, for your contribution. Distinguished colleagues, we have covered, I think, all those who put. Oh, Senator Sumon, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Monsura Sumonu, representing your Central Senatorial District. I've aligned myself to all the previous speakers, but I just want to talk on healthcare, foreign missions, and education. I think that what is in this year's budget, when you look at the education sector, does not give the youth the hope that they are expecting. They should be able to consider vocational training for youth and for them to be more, the entrepreneurship for them, so that even if they don't get white-collar jobs, they will be able to have something to do. Because instead of them roaming about the streets, graduating for about 5 years, 10 years without no job, I think this present government should be able to try as much as possible for us to fulfill our promises to the youth in terms of their employment and to health care. Mostly for women, the rate that our pregnant women die in the hospital is really, really rising. I think we have to consider looking at the health sector. And the one that I really want to talk about is the foreign missions. All our missions are in deplorable state. And we thank the Senate President for the leadership when it comes to peace. I think with your leadership style, the Senate should be able to rebrand and restructure this budget, which I believe that the executive will take it that we are doing it without prejudice. We are doing it because this is one government, and we are doing it for the sake of our people that we represent. So I think all has been said, but this budget should not go as it can. We should be able to consider everything that is being stated in the budget, and to give Nigeria the hope that tomorrow will be good. And also for implementation, I think they should please make sure that it is not business as usual. What they did, that we had about 50% implementation for 2017. While I'm joining all my colleagues, I think the good people of your state should remember some good tidings coming through this budget. Thank you very much.
Well spoken, well spoken. Senators, Stella, do I see you raise your hand? All right, distinguished colleagues, I believe all those who have written the name. Oh. Vice Chairman Appropriation, you want to speak twice? We can allow you if you want to speak twice. Okay, speak twice.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would like to place on record that some of my colleagues would rather that I don't speak for reasons I don't know. especially the leader of the Senate. And I don't know why he should lead that I should not speak on a matter that concerns appropriation.
Don't waste your time because you have
Mr. President, this budget is, I'm told that it's a budget of consolidation with over 8 trillion naira in view. My bother about calling it budget of consolidation is that I don't know on what we are consolidating. Is it the 2017 that we are consolidating, or we are consolidating on the morals economy? 2017 budget has barely been implemented. We all are aware that we passed this budget in April. And by September, there was so much demand for environment. Only after the release of 390 billion naira for the implementation of the capital budget. As we speak, some MDAs are yet to receive their salaries complete, which means that even the recurrent expenditure has not received full implementation, was stood at 807 billion naira. 807 billion naira by the 31st of October 2017, the independent revenue that was collected is only 155 billion naira.
no.
So it becomes difficult for us to know where we are going to get revenue to implement it. I forgot also to add that in the implementation of 2017 budget, we said we are going to rely on both internal and external borrowing to implement the capital component. As at 31st of October, the internal borrowing has hit 1.32 trillion naira of 2017 budget. Yet, we have not implemented up to 15% of the capital component of the budget. The recurrent expenditure, like I said earlier on, most agencies do not have complete payment of personnel emolument. I'm not talking of overhead. So, there are so many aspects of this 2018 budget that the Parliament should be interested in. The Parliament should be interested in, because at the end of the day, we are the only people who can represent our people who may never have the opportunity to ventilate their difficulties, especially as it concerns the implementation of the budget. And then,
Continue. Last 1 more minute.
I therefore request that the consideration of the budget is beyond party lines.
God bless you.
And anybody who thinks he's defending his party in this circumstance is anti-Nigeria. We should be interested in what happens to the welfare of our citizens, irrespective of which party you belong to. I therefore request that the Parliament should please tread gently in the passage of the 2018 budget, especially as we are talking about consolidating what we do not know at all. Thank you very much.
Senator Boji, I think I just information, because you used the word, you wanted to know what the consolidation is about. The consolidation is about the fact that we have come out of recovery and we need to consolidate on the economy and drive it forward. That's the consolidation. Just for your information, yeah, because when you have come out of recession, you are now want to build on your economy, you must consolidate. That's the consolidation, just for your information. All right. No, we are. So, distinguished colleagues, I think we have covered everybody who had put his name down to speak today. And again, we can summarize all the observations and comments. Thank all those who have contributed. The focus has always been our concern or the concerns on the issue of assumptions. And we're happy that we have an opportunity when we take the MTEF on Tuesday to be able to fully discuss it and debate it, and then we'll be able to look into it. On that note, distinguished colleagues, what we're going to do, because of the importance of the MTEF and some of the especially comments raised by everybody on the issue of assumptions, we will not go on to taking the question on the second reading. We will defer that until Tuesday when we finish completing the MTEF, and then which will argue the issue, we will pass the MTEF according to whatever we agree. And then if there's anybody else that still wants to contribute on the debate of the budget on Tuesday, and then we'll now hopefully take the budget for second reading. So on that note, let me thank all those who have contributed towards the debate of the principles of budget 2018. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I can say that the third order of the day, the sponsor of the third order of the day is not here, and I will therefore move that we stand down for consideration of the bill until another legislative day.
Mr. President, I second the motion that we stand down the bill for another legislative day.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, having successfully concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, the 5th of December 2017 at 10 a.m. promptly. So moved.
President, I second the motion as moved by the leader of the Senate. I still second.
Distinguished colleagues, before I put the question, just two announcements. One announcement from Senator Mao Wabunwa, that the National Assembly Coalition Against HIV/AIDS is commemorating the World AIDS Day on the 4th of December 2017. The Senate President is expected to attend, and all distinguished senators are hereby invited to be in attendance. And the second announcement, this is just to remind members of the ad hoc committee of the review of the current security infrastructure of the country. The committee will be inaugurated by myself today at 2 p.m. in committee room 120 in the Senate new building. All senators are equally invited to attend, signed by the Senate leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate hereby adjourns to Tuesday, 5th of December 2017 at 10 a.m. say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is accordingly adjourned to Tuesday, 5th December 2017, 10 a.m. prompt.